What we're going to talk about in this video is actually game-changing, mind-blowing, crazy mechanic that was discovered. So Xclusive Ace, one of the OGs of the stat testing community in Call of Duty, released this video, I think a few days ago, called Bullet Velocity Isn't What You Think in Call of Duty. And the whole purpose of his video is saying that for the first 50 milliseconds of bullet travel based on the bullet velocity, the muzzle velocity of your given weapon with its build, that is hit scan. So inside 50 milliseconds of bullet travel, the bullet is hit scan. So of course, I had to test this. I commented on it. I said, interesting. I'm going to put this to the test. Big if true. Great vid as always. Highly recommend you guys go subscribe to Xclusive Ace. He does fantastic multiplayer content for Call of Duty and has for like 10 years at this point. So way back in Verdansk, I wanted to make sure that the tracers were actually representing true bullet velocity because back then I tested every stat myself. And I wanted to make sure that what I could visually see with the tracer to give me the bullet velocity was actually the same as what the bullet was actually doing. Like I didn't know if the tracer was really the bullet or what was going on there. So I wanted to devise a test to actually try to, be able to extract the real bullet velocity regardless of what the tracer looked like. So that was about 3 years ago. And basically the test that I did for that, I had someone drive an ATV perpendicular to me 100 meters away at full speed, and that was a known speed, so it would be like, I think it was around 35 meters per second, and then I could take a shot at them with a sniper, and based on the amount that I had to lead the target to get the headshot, specifically a headshot because we wanted as small a target as possible, because the smaller the target, the more accurate the calculation gets, so specifically a headshot on a target 100 meters away, driving perpendicular to me at 35 meters per second. Doing that and using some pretty simple math, you can back calculate what the bullet velocity was on average across that range. Now, when I did that test, I remember finding super inconsistent, weird values. I tested at a few different ranges, and I don't know if this is what caused that or not. I just know that my numbers did not match the tracers at all, and they were much higher. So that made me think that maybe, I remember speculating all the way back then that within one tick of the server, maybe the bullet was hit scan, and that sort of made sense because, if the server can't possibly get new information about the player's position in time for the bullet to get there, then how can it possibly know that the person actually did move out of the way of the bullet? So there was some logic to that it kind of made sense that maybe that's how it worked. But I never actually proved it. I never did a bunch of tests, and I never moved closer than I think like 70, 80 meters, so I never saw a true hit scan. We know that the servers for Warzone are 20 hertz servers, so Ace's number of 50 milliseconds makes sense because 20 hertz is one tick every 50 milliseconds. So those two numbers line up. I've always wanted to do like educational videos like this. So if you guys don't want to see how this calculation actually works, you can skip ahead. But I want to show you how the actual math works out for, knowing how far you should lead a target and back calculating the bullet velocity and things like that. So I've got a little diagram here. So the target's up at the top, moving perpendicular to where I am at 35 meters per second. That's just an estimate. That's like the ATV speed. So I'm standing 50 meters away, and I have a gun that shoots a bullet at 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity. We know that bullet velocity because it's in game now. We have the muzzle velocity in game. And like I said, I'm 50 meters away. So the first question is, how fast does the bullet move 50 meters? So that's just 50 meters over that 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity, which is 50 milliseconds. So we know that bullet at 1,000 meters per second moves at 50 meters in 50 milliseconds. So in order to know how far we have to lead the target, we need to know how far the target moves in 50 milliseconds. So all we do for that is the target's velocity, 35 meters per second, times 50 milliseconds, which is 0.5 seconds. And that is 1.75 meters. Now, if we put that in feet, that's going to be pretty close to 6 feet. So it's like 5.8 feet-ish. So that means that if we wanted to hit the target from 50 meters away with 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity, to hit the center of the target, if we were aimed at the center of the target, you'd have to lead that target by 5.8 feet. So a huge amount. You have to lead the target by almost like the length of the ATV. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to use this exact test that I just laid out. I'm going to build a gun in Warzone with 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity. I'm going to have my friends Shampoo and Kyle. They're going to grab ATVs. They're going to fly back and forth at 35 meters per second. I'm going to be 50 meters away, and I'm going to take shots at them at 47 meters and 53 meters, because that is going to be on either side of that 50 millisecond travel time. We know that, like I said, it goes in 50 milliseconds, it will go this 50 meters. So if I go to 47, it's going to be inside what Ace said would be the hit scan range. And then if I go to 53 meters, I'm going to be outside the hit scan range. So I'm going to have to start leading the target by 1.75 meters or a little more than that, because I'm a little bit more than 50 meters away. Which is a significant amount of lead. So it's going to go from a significant amount of lead to being literally hit scan, where I just aim at the head to hit the shot in just 6 meters difference. Now, in Ace's video, he sort of didn't really say it worked this way. He kind of said that it was hit scan out to that 50 milliseconds, and then at that point, it started traveling. So I'm basically saying, so you can see on this chart, it's a smooth transition here from instantaneous travel to just a slight increase in travel time over distance. Now, I'm proposing that it's hit scan out to that 50 millisecond range, and then it's almost like the bullet was also traveling from the muzzle at the same time, and there's going to be like a step change in how long it takes the bullet to get there. So we'll show you the tests and see which one's right. So to make it more clear what I was just saying, basically Ace is saying this, where 0 millisecond bullet travel time all the way out to that range at 50 meters or at 50 milliseconds times the bullet velocity of the weapon. And then he's saying that there will be a slope past that. Now, what I'm saying is it will be hit scan, so it'll match that line out to right there. And then I think it's going to jump up 50 milliseconds and then travel from there. So that's the difference in how, we kind of thought this would work. And I'll show you guys the tests now. All right, so I did 2 tests with this, same methodology that we just went over. The first test was with the Ram 9, which has 500 meters per second bullet velocity, which by the 50 millisecond calculation means that the hit scan breakpoint would be 25 meters. So I tested it at 23 meters and 27 meters and did the same ATV driving test and tried to lead it, and then also tried to do hit scan, and you will see what happens here. So this is 240 FPS footage, and then I slowed it down like 20x. So in this video, I'm at 27 meters. And I got the headshot there. So you can see in that first clip, I had to lead. So I'll pause it. I had to shoot about, basically what my math said. It's about, 5 or 6 meters or 5 or 6 feet in front of the target in order to hit that tiny target of the headshot. You can see the bullet, the tracer goes right through his head, headshot. That's what we wanted there. So at 27 meters, it is not hit scan. Now, this is the same test, but at 23 meters. So this is inside that 25 meter hit scan range, supposedly. Now you'll see, I wait to shoot. I pull the trigger when I'm actually on the head. You can see the tracer go way behind where the actual player is. The tracer just about there gets to the target, but I get a headshot still, even though the frame where the trigger was pulled was directly on the head. So we know that 23 meters is hit scan with the Ram 9. Another case, just to show you guys, this isn't just a one-time thing. I tested this a bunch of times, got the same results every time with different weapons, different bullet velocities. MCW at 53 meters with 1,000 meters per second bullet velocity. That means that in the 50 milliseconds, it travels 50 meters. This is the exact setup that I did the math for you guys. So you can see that we have it at 53 meters in this first clip. So this should not be hit scan because we're outside 50 meters. You'll see that I shoot way ahead of the target. Basically the exact same amount of lead, which is what you would expect. And I got the headshot there. So I had to lead about 5 feet, just like the math showed, in order to get the headshot. Now we're at 47 meters, so this one should be hit scan. See, I wait to pull the trigger when the crosshair is on the head, the tracer's way behind the target, and I get the headshot. So this again confirms what Ace is saying, where inside 50 meters it is hit scan, or inside 50 milliseconds it is hit scan. Again, it is slightly different than what he said in his video, just because there is this strange disconnect. So literally, if you think about this, if you were fighting someone with the Ram 9 at 25 meters exactly, and they were bumping in and out of 24.9 and 25.1 meters, and they were moving quickly, then your bullets some of them are going to be hit scan and some of them aren't. And you can see that, now obviously this is an extreme case with an ATV moving 35 meters per second, but the same thing you see here, where you get to lead a lot sometimes and not lead at all other times, with just a small difference in how far you are from the target. That is going to be true for that breakpoint for any gun in any fight. So this could lead to some of these situations where, we feel like we're not getting good hit reg. Those probably are a lot of the times situations where your target is moving quickly and you are right at the breakpoint of the 50 millisecond hit scan range. I'm not going to show it, but it takes approximately 17 or 18 frames to go from when the bullet is fired to when the hit marker shows up in both of these cases. So it's interesting. It's like the server corrects for, even though it's hit scan in its actual path, it like delays the hit marker for the appropriate amount of time. So I don't know if the bullet's actually getting there in hit scan time, but that doesn't actually really matter. It's more important just that the bullet is, instantaneous travel time, so you don't have to lead the target. But I just wanted to note that it's interesting that the hit marker actually shows up in about 18 frames in both cases at 240 FPS. So that's a strange thing to note. All right, so no matter what the weapon is, no matter what the bullet velocity is, 50 milliseconds of travel time means that it's hit scan inside that and not hit scan outside that. So what does this actually mean? So anytime you're inside that 50 millisecond travel range, which is up on TGD actually as a new stat, it's the Hitscan Range. You'll see it in the stat summary. We'll probably look at that here in a minute because I want to show you guys how this affects TTK charts as well. But anyway, how this actually affects it, if you're inside that range, you literally just aim at the spot you want to hit and it's hit scan and it will hit the target. But if you're 0.01 meters outside that range, you have to start accounting for the bullet travel time. So I wanted to show you guys some worst case scenarios here, assuming the target is moving perpendicular to you at these different speeds. So tac sprint, the fastest speed for tac sprint is around 7.7 meters per second. The vehicle is what we just showed in the actual video, so 35 meters per second. Strafing, 3.5 meters per second is a high number for a strafe. So where do you actually have to aim to lead these targets? So for tac sprint, 7.7 meters per second. In 50 milliseconds, the target will move 0.385 meters. So if I draw that on the little target dummy I have over here, so basically you'd have to lead the target by 0.385 meters, and our target's can be the center of the head. So we move up basically 0.4 meters. I've got a little hand-drawn scale at the top. So 0.4 meters is approximately like right here. So the range that you would have to aim to hit this target would be something like that for tac sprint. Somewhere in that blue area, if the target is moving to the left, that's how much you'd have to lead them by. So you guys saw the vehicle. So obviously the distance between the left and right bracket there for how much you have to lead is the width of the head. So we're assuming a headshot here, but the amount that you have to lead is different in different scenarios. So the vehicle, 35 meters per second, 1.75 meters. So, I mean, that's basically the end of this chart. So I'm just going to put it at the end, even though I don't think I have enough room here. So it's the same width. So for that over here at the left, it would be something like this. That's about a 1 foot area. You'd have to actually aim somewhere in between these two brackets to hit your target if they're moving to the left at 35 meters per second. And then the last up is strafing. Strafing is only 0.175. So that is approximately half the width of the head. So you'd have to aim somewhere like right in here to hit the target. So when you're up close and you're only moving at 3.5 meters per second, it actually doesn't affect it that much. But you can see that there is this little bit here where if you were at 0.01 meters inside your hit scan range, those would hit. And then as soon as that target moves outside that, those shots will miss. So it's just going to be really weird that it's like a drop off where it changes just in an instant at exactly a certain meter. All right, over on TGD, so you guys can see this. We have added the hit scan range. So you see down here in the bottom right, hit scan range, 39 meters. This is the Ram 7. So it has a 780 meters per second bolt velocity. So 780 meters per second. It will travel 39 meters in 50 milliseconds, one tick of the server. So that is why the hit scan range is 39 meters. Now, if we go down and look at the TTK chart, I have modified the TTK chart here to include hit scan for the first 50 milliseconds of travel and then has bullet velocity after that. So you can see how this changes here. So let me toggle off everything except one. So the HRM, that's a bad example. Let's do the Ram 7 instead. So Ram 7, like I said, at 39 meters, it becomes no longer hit scan. So it's hit scan, perfectly horizontal lines with no bullet travel out to 39 meters. And then at 39, it jumps up 50 milliseconds because we have that travel. Now, as I said earlier in this video, when we were looking, the last portion of looking at the actual video clips, the bullet travel time in terms of how long it takes the hit marker to get there is actually still correct, even though the actual travel is hit scan. So I need to do more investigations. This 50 millisecond jump might not be correct. It might still be that the TTK is what we had on TGD before with the horizontal or the slanted lines, including bullet travel time. And that's just because it looks like the server like back calculates how long it should have taken the bullet to get there, even though to actually get the hit, it is hit scan. It seems like the TTK might not be impacted by that bullet velocity. So I might revert this back to the old version. We'll see. I need to do some more testing on this and confirm one way or the other. I'll do some closer range testing where it's hit scan and see if the hit marker happens quicker as I get closer, even though it's hit scan in the whole portion. So it should have been instant for all of them. I'll just do some more testing and update that. But for now, it is showing the little 50 millisecond jump there in time to kill. And for sure, the amount of lead does change at that point, as we've been covering. So all the different TTK charts will show this now. Need to get some extra charts on here that will show bullet lead and things like that. I think that would be a pretty cool feature to add, but there are reasons I haven't done that, but I think I will be pursuing doing that pretty soon. I'm going to give a couple practical examples, one with each type of weapon. So we're going to start with an SMG, HRM9, 480 meters per second bullet velocity. It's hit scan inside 24 meters. So looking at the chart down here, you can see at that 24 meters, it jumps up 50 milliseconds. Again, I might be reverting that. I need to do some more testing. But what this means is anywhere inside 24 meters, you literally just aim at the target. You don't have to correct for bullet velocity. You don't have to lead the target at all. You just aim directly at the target and you will hit anywhere inside 24 meters. Now, as soon as you hit 24.0001 meters, all of a sudden you have to start leading the target. And like I said, if the target's like tack sprinting at 7.7 meters per second, you almost have to lead them an entire head in front of them to actually hit the headshot. So you go from having no lead at all to instantaneously having to lead the entire size of a head. So I think that in some weird scenarios, this could definitely cause some of the bad hit reg issues that we've seen throughout the game. Another example here with a long range weapon instead of the HRM up close with some bullet velocity boosting attachments. You can see that bullet velocity boosting attachments increase your hit scan range now because it's all calculated based on how far the bullet would go in 50 milliseconds. So 1080 bullet velocity gives us a 54 meter hit scan distance. So looking at the TTK chart, the SVA is hit scan all the way out to 54 meters with this build. So there's going to be no leading the target at all at 54 meters. And then from 54 meters and on, there's going to be exactly the same calculations because like I said, when I was actually showing you the math for this, it's 50 milliseconds regardless. So it doesn't matter how far you are from the target. The amount that the target's going to move in 50 milliseconds is going to be the same. So still same as the close range gun at 54 meters. They're moving perpendicular and then tack sprinting at 7.7 meters per second. You're going to have to lead them by about the whole size of their head out of nowhere. So you're going to be hit scan where you don't have to lead them at all. And then all of a sudden you have to lead them an entire headshot amount to hit in the exact same spot as you did at 0.1 meters shorter. So hopefully this will get changed. I don't have any idea if this is something that can change. This might be something inherent to like the way the game is coded and they might not want to touch that kind of thing at all. But it could definitely lead to some weird scenarios where bullets aren't landing that should be landing. And then I just want to give a super high bullet velocity example. So the Moors with the photonic charge barrel, when you charge it up completely, is the fastest bullet velocity in the game at 2,000 meters per second. That gives it a hit scan range of 99.9 meters. So out to 100 meters, you are completely hit scan. So 100 meters, you don't have to lead the target at all. But then same as the other weapons, right at 100 meters, if they go to 100.001, you have to start leading them a little bit. So depending on the situation, worst case, they're tack sprinting to the side, 7.7 meters, lead them by a whole head width in order to get a headshot. So just pretty crazy changes here. And it's interesting that we didn't ever really discover this. I got so close back in Verdansk 3 years ago with that ATV test, just like this test. I got so close to finding this, but I think that I just didn't quite move close enough to the target. I think the target was always a little bit past where that 50 millisecond travel time was. And that was by design because I wanted to get basically a smaller angle for the headshot to get my calculations as accurate as possible. But if I had just moved a little bit closer, we would have found this 3 years ago. But anyway, super interesting video, super interesting topic. I hope this helps you guys be a little more informed with how you're building weapons. I think it's pretty crazy, and I think that they will probably try to change it, but I have no idea, again, if it's even possible. So we'll see. But as always, if you guys like the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, drop a comment on the video, and if you appreciate all the work that goes into the website and testing these things and getting you guys this information, the best way to support always is just an actual membership to the website. $5 a month, get access to all the premium features, and even if you don't use the site, it directly supports my YouTube channel as well. Makes it so I can just make what content I want, because I have an external source of income, almost like a Patreon. Like, even if you don't use the site, you can still subscribe to support. But that's my little self-promo spiel. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.